it's time for another podcast.
Yes.
We are so excited. Thank you, ladies, for letting us come to your home and do
Absolutely.
this. We're here with Electra and Pam Mustaine, the mother-daughter duo behind the family business, House of Mustaine. Electra is the sommelier of the family, and we are so excited to talk to you guys. And we did meet up about 2 years ago.
Yes.
So
It's been too long.
I know. So yeah, we want to hear like all the catch-up stuff, but I think we also should reintroduce your all's whole business and how it all got started. And so yeah, why don't you guys take the reins and just dive in to House of Mustaine?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll start because I was, in the beginning, it was probably about 10 years ago that we started, and we were in California living. We planted the vineyards. Dave and I, he had a symphony that he had going on in San Diego, and that's how we got the idea. We needed something for the fans, for the symphony. So we went to our local winery and we did something with them, and we made something with them that was specific for the symphony. And it sold out within the first half hour of advertising it. Fans came in from all over, plane, train, drove. And after that we decided, let's just do it for the fans. They enjoyed it. So we ended up doing it back then. And then when we sold the property, we moved out here to Tennessee. And now I'm joined with Electra because she's old enough to be able to be doing wine with me.
By a few years now.
Mm-hmm. But we've always been an international family. We've always flown international. Her and I would say the most, like to, fly and go into the international world and just have the experience, with other people and other cultures. So now she's able to join me, and she's my right hand, and she's our family sommelier. So I'll let you take it, what we're doing in Italy.
Well, it's been quite the journey. It all feels like it goes very fast, but the winemaking is nice and slow, and it kind of brings us down, which has been great from our usual lifestyle. But yeah, as a family, we might not be a generational winemaking family yet, keyword, but we have traveled the world our whole life. So when I got involved in the company, I really wanted to bring her dream to life, and we decided, let's go do what we know best. And what we know best is that there's beautiful things out there that nobody has found, the things that we've discovered that are hidden secrets, and that's kind of how we ended up in the Marche in Italy, because we met with our now winemaker Marco Cavalieri, and he has these incredible varietals that he introduced to us that we fell in love with. So it was kind of an accident. Obviously we come from the music background, but we've added the music still and kept it in our history and in the wines. But yeah, we just want to showcase what we've discovered around the world, and now we have our own vineyards in Italy. We're building a winery out there. We're growing and expanding into different countries, so that's kind of our goal, is to bring that to everyone.
Love it.
That's awesome. So before, I know you said that the bottles were named after certain songs.
Correct, yeah.
So you guys are about to do new releases for some wines, right?
They're available.
They're available
now.
now.
They're available
Okay.
now, absolutely.
So tell us about the different ones that you have.
So this is our Wanderlust Pecorino. This is from Falerio, which is one of the last ancient roads to Rome. And this is a high elevation wine, commonly mistaken, obviously, with the association with cheese. Tastes nothing like it, I can assure you of that. I actually like to say, and it's so surprising, this has become one of our favorites, I think both of us.
Yeah.
But it kind of reminds me of a wedding in a glass, is what I usually say. There's so much there. You guys can taste and find, I'll let the Psalms.
Well, cheers.
Yes.
Cheers. Great to see you again.
Oh wow,
Yes.
that is so good.
Perfect Tennessee hot weather wine right here. This is delicious.
Thank you. Yeah, so all of our wines, they come from our ancient vineyards, and what we love about this collection is the vineyards are older than our country in America, right? So it's 1,200 years old, and they actually are from the place where the Benedictine monks first started aging wine in a barrel. Wow. So what happened is we have this history, we have ancient methods that we've preserved, and there's actually an oath that's been kept in our vineyards for generations, which is to preserve all that is beautiful. So we've taken that together in the vineyard, And what that means is obviously sustainability. We're big about that. We leave every fourth post when we're harvesting, we leave one vine for the birds and animals and whatnot. And they used to do that for generations, and they would actually leave it for the poor. So they would come and have food, or they could sell it, or they could make it into wine and whatnot. So we've kind of taken that on. And all of our wines here from Italy are organic practices. So
Nice.
that's something that we really believe in. She has led the family into that for years. So we're
that's
happy.
definitely something that I've been on for the last couple, 10, 15 years that I believe in, because the taste is so much different than with it organic. You're getting all the nutrients from the soil. You're getting rich soils. There's nothing else added to them, so you can taste the fruit directly from the vineyards in your glass. It's just tastes different.
Right. It's just like if you eat like a tomato, like fresh from a garden, where it's like meant to be, instead of a grocery store, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I can totally taste the difference in this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's very clean.
Yeah.
And I like how light this is too. It's very light. This is not like a heavy white at all, and it's just like incredibly refreshing. Yeah, I just enjoy it. It's very, very good.
Yeah, we hope that Americans will take the risk and discover something that they might be, curious about, or the name itself. That's why we love the name Wanderlust, because it does require a bit of adventure to really pick up a pecorino.
Which is what you two are. You're big adventurers.
We're huge on adventures, because there's so much treasure out there. There's new things. And two, we like to take the old with the new, and we like to marry them. So we go out and we find. This was one of the first things Marco introduced me to, and I just thought, oh my God, where has this been? I never even knew it existed. So this is my favorite.
This year we're going to be coming out with, next year, the following vintage, we're going to test out a sparkling pecorino.
Oh my God.
Traditional method. So we fell in love. We're like, we gotta do more and experiment with it. So
I love that.
Yes, I love the bottle shapes too. I think that's really cool.
Well,
There's a story behind that. I see. There's always a story.
oh my gosh, I'm gonna do the
go
dry
ahead. Yep.
Marco, when he had us come out there the first time, he put us up in a castle, and I was thinking, is this for real? I mean, we got out there and it was a castle. We woke up in the morning and you could see daylight coming through doors, like the walls were doors. I'm like, we're in a real castle,
not a door.
What?
In the wall.
Yeah. So then I can overthink things, but it was the best experience. But then we met up with our winemaker, and we had to drive 3 hours to meet up with him, and GPS and any of that,
don't trust
Waze,
GPS in
any
Italy.
of it. We ended up in a dry lake in Italy where none of that was working. We listened to it, none of it was working. We had a little Mercedes station wagon 3 inches off the ground, packed full of suitcases, the camera guy. And we go into this dry lake, and I'm calling Jorge, our winemaker. I go, I have no idea where I am. All the people in the village are like close to 100 years old.
Yeah.
No one can help us.
No.
one can push us out.
We don't
went
speak
under
Italian
a bridge.
yet.
Yeah. Oh, and they all looked at us when we were coming in. So I saw that, and I was like, we're probably somewhere we shouldn't be. But the GPS is saying go this way.
Right.
And we went under a bridge with a train, and it was so narrow. And I thought, I had to drive backwards to get out of there, because our cameraman ran up ahead and said, there's no way you're getting out.
And she's the logical one. I'm over here like, yeah, go. It's going to be fine. There's probably something on the other side. She's just like, oh, God.
Nothing.
So needless to say, Wanderlust is tried and true.
There's a lot that goes on to find these wines.
So how do you guys handle each other in a situation like that? Like, do you all get along, or are you a little bit like, you're stressing me out? Like, are you like...
No, this is a day in, day out. This is every day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We just...
She's
This
the
is
childlike joy. Like
Yeah.
she says things the way she wants them to turn out. I'm logical. I'm like, I've lived enough life and had enough life experience, especially being on the road, first, second, third world countries. This isn't going to work. You have no plan, but yet you're just saying this because this is how you want it to turn out.
So needless to say, there's a TV show coming as well.
Whoa, that's great. She's manifesting optimism.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
I love
Little
Lucy.
dose.
Yeah.
It's really Lucy kind of thing. That's what
I
it is.
love Lucy on a wine journey.
Ethel and Lucy.
There you
I
go.
love Lucy. I
Whole
love
new
that.
concept.
I love that episode, by the way. I still
Yes.
watch that episode. Well, that's really great. So what has been, I guess, your biggest challenge through all of this?
Gosh, I think the greatest part about the challenge is we had no idea that there would be such a challenge. So we kind of were biting everything off a bite at a time, and now we look back and we're like, I can't believe we did that, you know? So I think our whole family, we're all very surprised and thankful, but it's taking risk, and that's something that our family has never been shy to. So that is the challenge, day in and day out, but we face it head on and we just go for it. And on the other side, there's beautiful things that not only we get to share, but everybody can partake in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think, Pam, you were saying off camera that, you know, you never knew that it was going to evolve into this.
Yeah.
You know, the journey, if you would have thought about it.
I would have overthought it
Right.
and all the things that could go. So I was glad I didn't know the journey,
Yeah.
what was on the journey. But the journey's always a great thing because it's such a great teacher. So you can't handle, you know, the bigger things without getting the foundation. So the journey, you know, getting that a foundation built at a lower level and just making your mistakes and learning at a lower level,
Yeah.
you can build on top of that and it'll last. But there's a lot of wisdom in the journey,
Right.
and if you don't get it, you're bound to repeat it.
Oh,
So
good.
I have an issue talking too much about wine as well, so that's
Oh,
my...
that's
Well,
not
you're,
an
my
issue.
you're in
only
good
topic
company,
now.
so.
We are so fascinated by all things wine. We could talk about it for hours.
Yeah. Pam,
We need to hang
where
out.
did your love for wine start? Like, I know growing up in California, it's probably,
it was actually when we did the vineyard. I love real estate. I love the beauty of real estate, and land and horses, and I've always grown up in the outdoors.
yeah.
Really, with those two things have always been something I've loved. So we ended up with a 5-acre property in San Diego, and it was on a hill, and one of the local wineries were on the backside, and you're surrounded by wineries in the valley too,
Right.
North County. So they're beautiful. Like when you look at vineyards, and if you're someone who likes land and horses, you look at a vineyard, you're like, that is just, you can't not.
Serene.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So we ended up planting the vineyards, and in planting the vineyards, you start learning the depths of all the little things, the nuances that go into it. Even when we got the little vines, they came in their packages, and you had to let them wake up. Like all the things my wine guy was teaching me, but it became fascinating because I get bored easy. You know, I'm the one in school that'll take the diagonal. I just, you know, but the vineyards and the whole wine community and the people, there's so much to learn. You're never going to get bored. And it's always fascinating. It's not boring. There's always meaning, you know, in the learning that just takes you, it keeps taking you down the road.
Yeah.
And you just keep going in deeper and deeper, and you learn there's no, you know, there's no wrong.
Right.
It's just, you keep meeting people that continue to teach you, and it takes you into depths that you just, on the surface, you're looking at beauty, but there's so much that can be learned that goes into it ending up in a glass.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
it's amazing.
I also think that too, with our background in travel and whatnot, it was something, at least for me, I know for you as well, we're very similar. But I think that the connection with the world and where it's from and the soil,
Definitely.
the terroir, the sun, the wind, like we related to that because every time we go somewhere, it's the culture, it's the cuisine, it's the music. We try to bring that home and keep it alive. So until we're like, okay, now we're home in Tennessee, now we're doing Tennessee thing. Okay, now let's go to the next place, you know? So that's been an inspiration for us, and we just felt at home in that because we grew up traveling the world. I mean, I grew up on a tour bus, a plane.
Yeah.
I don't know how to sleep without my tour bus sound at night, you know, like it's just this weird thing, but
And if you think about it with food, you know, we all have the same kind of foods, you know, chicken, steak, you know, pasta. But it's how every culture does it, and it's different, and that's what makes it fascinating. If you go to Portugal, it's different. You go to Italy, it's different. You come here, we do it. But we could all be given the same foods, but it's the way we do things and how we make things that make it a different experience each time.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated by that. And then we had just come off of a horse safari. We like to venture.
did you guys see that? We rode 8 hours a day
Yes,
over
I
the
did see
mountains of
that.
Spain. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was,
How did your legs feel the next day?
I couldn't get off my horse.
It was better just to stay on because they're in that position.
Yeah,
Right.
they're just glued there.
Much kinder to stay on.
Yeah.
But we got to try local wines because,
Yeah.
again, everywhere you go, we're in the middle of nowhere in a cork forest, you know,
Oh, yeah, we
on
rode-
mountains that look like yeah, incredible. And he brought local wine, and you just get to taste, from different regions.
And then the wheels are turning. We're
Right.
like, where do we get a vineyard in
Right.
Spain? Maybe let's get a vineyard there. So, but we're vineyard people. We're land people.
Yeah.
So, and I know we all believe, even our winemaker, which is very humble of him to say, we believe the wine is made in the vineyard, and the minimal touch of man is the ideal place to be. Right. So, we're not about what happens in the winery so much as we are what happens in the vineyard.
Yeah.
It all starts in the vineyard.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You guys want to move on to the rosé?
Let's do it. We actually have a Verdicchio. I don't know if you want to try
yeah,
that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
White?
yeah.
do that first.
Okay. Sorry, Pecorino.
I hate it. Every time.
Such a sin.
It's okay.
Keeps us sharp. So the Verdicchio de Castelli di Jesi is something that, it's another high elevation wine. We fell in love with this as well. And here we go. This is actually a beautiful location. If you've never been, it's obviously very high up in the mountains, but it's a really unique placement between the Apennine winds and the ocean. So you have pretty fresh air that blows on the vines. You're not getting that real saline, salty ocean influence, but
And
it
it
really,
is the Adriatic Sea.
yeah, it does really have an influence to the ancient terroir there as well.
It's got beautiful notes.
It does have a really nice.
This is what they call, I'm sure you guys probably know, sometimes they call it the Chablis of Italy. So we really believe in this wine, and I think that this is one that is really close and in the running to be a very notable wine of Italy as well, even for a white. So especially this is the king of our Marche region. So we're very
I think you speak pretty good Italian.
Yeah. I think you're on your way
You're
already.
giving yourself enough credit there.
I'm learning. I do have a fascination for language. That's another part of the travel and
Yeah.
everything.
Well, even the way you're pronunciating things.
I know, it's like really
okay,
fun to
she's-
listen to. I'm
yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah, try being around her.
She's like, no, Mom, it's
When I'm
pronounced.
learning Italian, I'm like, move aside. I need to
where
learn
we
from
tip.
Marco.
That's it right there.
He's easier on me.
Roll your R, Mom. Come on.
Oh my God, you know it.
So we got lost in Estonia once. What were we doing in Estonia? This is just, Mustaine story, of course. So I'm sitting there, we're in a really dark, crazy alley, and I was like, there's some people around, it's getting late, I don't know where our room key is, it must have fallen somewhere in the road. We don't know where we are, we're lost, right? I'm like, oh my
and it
God.
did.
Yeah, so language, I was telling her, I'm like, just don't talk. If they hear our American accent, we are screwed. Just pretend, blend in, you can't blend in certain places. They know you're American before you ever open your mouth, but yeah, I'm like, just let me do the talking, and I don't know Estonian either, but I was just like, making the hand gesture, trying
She'll
to
make sure she speaks in another language.
something. I'm like, I'll speak Spanish. It'll be fine. I think I'm from Spain. Anyway,
Oh my gosh. That's
that happens
awesome.
all the time. So.
Well, and I think just like, I love the fact you guys know a lot about wine because you have traveled and been to these vineyards so much. So I think when people are drinking your wine, like what you're saying, and you can taste it in how it tastes, but just the stories you're telling, like there's a confidence that you guys have really seen stuff.
Yeah.
You really know what the good stuff out there. Like it's very evident, So I mean, people that are out there, if they haven't tried your wines like House of Mustaine, like it's just like you're getting a high quality product and something that is international. Like it's something that you're bringing to the States.
Yeah.
Like that's not very common that you can find that.
Well,
There are reasons for that too, because there's so much involved.
Yeah.
There is a cost to quality, but we love the whole experience and being able to bring quality and bring some of these things back from the world that we found.
Right. And honestly, I think the issue that I ran into when I was first getting into wine, and I think a lot of people deal with this as well, is one, you have no idea what to do when you really don't know wine, right? And everybody starts at that point.
Yeah.
You're standing in front of the grocery shelf like, I don't know what these taste like. I don't know. It doesn't say necessarily, how it's made, what wine, what soil, what does this mean? What does this region mean? I have no idea, right? So for us, part of the reason we put this QR code on the back as well is you can scan it and it takes you directly to the vineyard. So it's not just go to the
Awesome.
website, buy more. It's no, come here. Like see our methods, see us in the vineyard, see what we did. But I think too, with us, and at least for our family, is it does require trust when you're purchasing a bottle of wine, because
Totally.
you don't get to always sample it.
Right.
So for us, we've been fine dined our whole lives. We've been eating street food, we've been eating crickets, we've been doing all these crazy things, right? And so we do have an experience with, okay, I know this is good, I know this was special, I know this place makes this unique thing, and people gotta try it. They gotta find and discover it. So that's what we want to do, and we hope that people will trust our family and our name to do that and bring that back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's awesome.
This is really, really, really,
I
really
love
good
this
too.
one. Yes, very good.
You guys are just awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I also want to hear too, Electra. So when, for you, were you like, you know, because your mom is really into the wine, you know, did it happen right when you turned 21? I mean, I know, like, we talked to a lot of people, they drink a little younger too if they're from California, especially the kids that live out there. Like,
No comment. No.
yeah.
Don't, yeah.
No, I mean, so obviously people grow up in the vineyard as well.
Yeah.
Right? So I was there, and we planted the vineyard together.
Yeah.
So I've been there from the start, but I was doing music. I mean, I was really passionate and heading towards that, and I still am. And obviously the music influence is still there in the wines, but it was beautiful to see an opportunity, and especially I think it happened right on the cusp of COVID, or right before, like in late 2019, 2020. I really stepped in and got involved, but it was like, this thing is getting too big for her to just do on her own. Like, I wanted to, and we're so close, we're best friends. So I was like, I want to step in, like, I want to do this with you. And I just started seeing the passion. I have a huge passion for cooking and just, you know, all the gardening,
The creative.
you know, vines, the grapes, everything. So it really just aligned and spoke to me. It felt really fulfilling to me, because the entertainment industry it can be kind of draining. It can be it's hard on your soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this was something that came in and gave everything that you were looking for. It feels fulfilled. It gives me purpose and helping
It brings
my
life.
family.
Yeah.
It brings a lot of life.
Right. So I like seeing people get to experience the world as I've known it as well, and they're getting to do that through this. They
Very
don't even
cool.
have to go and travel, which
Yeah.
I'm sure they would like to, and not many people can.
Yeah.
So it just feels good to give back in this small
You're
750
bringing
ml.
it to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even on the site, there's episodes. Everything we do, we put on the site with episodes, just to show the people they can't get there. We'll keep bringing it.
Yeah. You guys are really good about content and showing people, like,
Yeah.
in the vineyard and your
Yeah.
adventures and stuff like that, which I really appreciate.
Me too.
I think
So-
it's important. Like, how do you know if you can't see or you can't go there?
Right? Because a lot of people probably won't be able to go
Right.
to Italy to a
course,
vineyard
yeah.
to find out, you know,
Yeah.
Pecorino or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I think it's cool that you showcase and show the people it all starts here.
Yep.
This is where it is. This is what you're drinking. This
Yeah.
is what.
Yeah.
Think
Right.
about this when you're taking a sip of this glass
Right.
of wine.
Right. And that's what you don't get to do when you're buying something off the grocery shelf that you don't know who made it, you don't know the producer, you know, you
Yeah.
get it into the wine.
Well, especially old world wine, when it's a region on the bottle. It's not
Yeah.
even telling you what
Yeah.
grapes are in there.
Right.
It's like, I don't know.
no idea
Right.
what that
Yeah.
means.
Bordeaux
Right.
is.
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
really funny actually when you help people and they're like, yeah, they'll come up and like it's the name of like the winery, and they're like, I
winery.
don't know what kind of wine this is. And you have to like explain that, and
Yeah.
it's just like, well, but it makes sense. People wouldn't know that, you
Yeah.
know. It's just
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And then also how I feel like in America people are very much like, oh, like the wines to drink are Pinot Noir and
Exactly.
Chardonnay and Cab and like you know, your average person, if you're like, what kind of wine do you like, they're gonna say like those three or something
Right.
like that, because they don't really know that there's like all these other varietals. And I think once you start to like dive into the other varieties, you're
Yep.
like, oh my gosh, like what you're saying, it's so big, like you could never learn
Yeah.
everything,
Right.
Yeah.
how big it is. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's what happened
Yeah.
to us, yeah. I just passed my sommelier test in, I think it was December,
The
finished
winter, yeah.
my studies, and that really blew the door wide open, you know? You're like, oh my god, this is so much more complex than you would ever imagine. It's not just the varietal, you know, it's the place, it's
Yeah.
everything, so, but not everybody can do that, and so we want to share with people that might be intimidated by that aspect that, hey, discover, explore. That's the joy of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. So next up, She Wolf. Beautiful
Marche
rosé.
Rosato, yes. We have a line of she-wolves that we've had from the past. It's kind of like a cult following for us. We've had she-wolf Tempranillo, she-wolf Merlot. Now this is a Sangiovese. And this one in particular, well, most of our Italian wines, I think actually all of our Italian wines are, they're soft pressed. So this, you might find in the filtration, we did a really light filter, which obviously this is an Italian thing as well, right? So if you see this in America, you might wonder what's going on here. But basically, we've done that to preserve the aroma. So if you filter it out too much, you're gonna lose some of that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So this one is actually fascinating too because we have, ironically, we haven't caught her on camera yet, but we have a white wolf that lives in the vineyard. Not you.
Where is this going?
She
Always
turns into a
amazing
wolf.
to me too.
This is really fascinating.
No.
Where is she going with this?
You remember we saw her with Eric when we were filming, and we didn't have the camera on.
At Marco's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were there, reviewing the wines, getting them packed up for wine club in Europe, and we see this white wolf like trek across the Sangiovese she-wolf plot.
What?
And we were like,
was
are
perfect.
you kidding me? Right?
Wow.
So there is this little border that lines the property of some woods, and that also helps with the biodiversity and everything. So they live down there, but we didn't know she was white. We didn't think we would see it. Like, this is crazy.
And in
So-
broad daylight too. So
yeah.
it
Oh,
just
wow.
was
Meant to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sheep, of course, were all up on the other side, like
Yeah.
the shepherd and all the sheep.
He
So
stays out there.
She's hanging out.
Yeah, trying to maybe get some of the
Yeah.
sheep.
At least she's not taking the wine. So.
Right?
Not the grapes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. So this is the same location in Marche, our same vineyards, and this one is really special because I think it's just perfect for summer. It's super aromatic, and there's a lot of complexity there. There's a lot of floral and fruit and everything, but it's dry, it's still really clean.
Yes, all the wines so far, that's the thing. It's like they're so clean. Like, you can feel like they're just like fine-tuned,
Yeah.
and there's just no, the organic, all that, it just comes through. You can just really taste it.
Thank you.
Man.
Yeah, the purity of the grape and the concentration,
And the alcohol levels on all of these.
Yeah, what are the alcohol levels?
Yeah,
on
they're
all these?
pretty low. So a lot of this is 13, but a lot of our wine, I think the other two are 12.5. So
Yeah,
it's
we're
technically
not high alcohol.
Yeah.
oh no, those are all 13. The other rosé that we produce is 12.5. But yeah, we like that. I think that's our preference, but I think a lot of people are enjoying that right now as well. So as long as it doesn't feel heavy, we want it to feel refreshing.
Yeah.
The other whites, I mean, those are full body whites, but they don't.
They don't drink like
Right.
They don't
full-bodied
drink like
dog.
that.
Right. Yeah. So
No, very light. I don't get a lot of alcohol on them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like it when it's balanced.
Yeah.
Like I can drink some that are like high alcohol, but I do enjoy when it's like, oh, I don't get just a ton of the alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, I can really taste
Yeah.
the fruit.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a shift in all that.
I think there is too. We've talked to some other people, especially people that are really into the white world, that they're trying to really hit like an 11-12% and keep it kind of around that and not get, so it is a little bit more lighter and refreshing. But I've had ones that have been high and they've been really, really good too. Watching our friends make one. But
right.
yeah.
And that's where the balance
Very
comes in.
balanced, yeah.
Yes, for sure. I'm curious. So, what are some places, like new places that you guys haven't been that you're like, oh, I'd like to check that out?
We've been talking because it's right across from our new winery location. Croatia,
Okay.
Greece. We've been to Greece, obviously.
Croatia.
I don't think
will
we've
be
ever been to
first.
Croatia.
Portugal, Croatia, one of those.
We fell in love with Portugal, so that's something we've talked about. Obviously, Spain and Chile as well. Have been
So you're thinking like port or like just
I don't know.
If I let her just run
Yeah.
wild,
I'll do
we'll
all
be in
the-
white port.
Yeah.
She'll be in
Oh man, I can't find it anywhere in America. So
we had one once and it was
it was
really
really
It's hard
good.
to find.
Really good.
It's hard
Yeah,
to find.
yeah. So I would totally make a white port if I could in Portugal or a Vino Verde. So we are in talks where we got introduced to an amazing winemaker there that has the same beliefs as us. So
yeah.
we're gonna try to find a vineyard that we can own and start working on and harvest and everything, and then see if he'll work with us.
The
But
House of
Croatia would be
Mustaine
cool.
world domination is about to
Kidding, I
happen.
know. Have you-
Wines from all over the
Have
place.
you guys tried any of the wines coming out of Mexico?
I have.
That was brought up. 'Cause
yeah.
Our winemaker goes down there, and our winemaker knows a lot of the winemakers in Mexico, and he's brought that up.
Are you talking about Baja California?
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of people have been bringing this up, that it's kind of like this new thing.
Yep.
I mean, not crazy new, but that
Yeah.
it's a place that people are like, no, this is
Yep.
this is cool.
I actually went there in 2019, and my dad had put on the mega cruise. So it was this big cruise ship, and we did our first wine tasting. But I was the only Mustaine that went because he was going through cancer and he couldn't come. But I was like, I'll go. So we went, and I took his roadies. I was like, guys, we're getting off in Baja. Let's go, and I want to go see these vineyards. So I like grabbed these guys who had no idea anything about wine, and it's actually really fun to do it with them.
Yeah.
They didn't know. But this was in 2019, so I was still kind of fresh into it as well. And we went and we toured Valle del Guadalupe. I think
Yeah.
it was where we went. Yeah, and it was awesome. That was something that I know our
You brought back some that was beautiful.
our winemaker consultant Jorge. He's been with us since the beginning, so he's Mexican. He's like, guys, we gotta get
Very
a wine down there
cool.
too. So we're talking about it, but.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends what's available too, because we're
Yeah.
vineyard people. So it's like we got to find our vineyard that we would, secure and purchase or whatever. And obviously, planting takes years.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing in Italy. Is we're planting in February. We're building a subterranean winery there on the cliff, and that's going to be like our long term, plan and project. But it's been so fun.
I love too how like this has just been. It's so sweet that you guys are like. You're such good friends, and that you can do this together, like as a mother and a daughter, and like it is gonna be a multi-generational thing. It looks like definitely it is, and I can just tell that you guys just have a lot of fun together, and
Yeah.
We
that's
do.
really sweet.
We do, especially with her rehearsing, and we laughed for 30
know,
minutes trying. She's great because when she was younger, she had a TV show, so she grew up on camera and theater and all that. I didn't. I'm behind the scenes. I come from a different world, so
Yeah.
you stay behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You learn a lot more behind the scenes. So she's always bringing me out, say this. I'm sitting there in tears, like trying
It
to.
is so funny. No, laughing.
Laughing.
Yeah. I'm like, here's what you got to tell them, and then she, it's funny, but
Yeah, it's just.
but
it's-
she's like the Oz. Like nobody gets to hear from her for 30 years. She's been behind the scenes,
Right.
and she has so much to say. So I'm like, you gotta get out there, and they gotta know you.
Yeah.
Like they'll.
So her
follow.
version of that is sticks the camera right this close to my face, and I'm like, I am not saying anything. It's like a big old interrogation.
I've noticed more videos of you talking,
I
like with the camera in your face.
Do you
like-
know how long that took and to get the camera moved back? I don't like all that. That's not me, but
We need to get a
I
mic.
do. I have lived a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I said, put the cameraman in the tree.
Yeah. Just
You know,
put a GoPro on
get
her.
rid of him
Exactly.
somewhere.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we do have a lot of fun, but she is like the she's grown up in all this, so she's the spokesperson. I'm the visionary.
Well, it's a balance. It takes
Yeah,
both sides of
for
it,
sure. We
for
definitely play on each other's strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Couldn't do it without you.
I know. I definitely could. She's that new upgrade. We come from a different world and she's telling me, get on here, all the social stuff. Oh my God, that is not me. I'd rather interact with you one-on-one.
Right.
But she's awesome at the social
Well,
stuff.
Electra, you're Gen Z, right?
Yeah.
No. I
No.
don't think so.
Yes.
Really?
Am I?
How old are you?
25.
No, I think you might be.
Am I? I'm 98.
We were just talking about this yesterday because there's this new generation Alpha.
No.
Yes.
We're already back at A.
No, and so our youngest, she was like, I will die if I'm an Alpha. I better be a Gen Z.
Oh, that's so funny.
But anyway, if you are a Gen Z, which I think you are,
It would make sense.
but you you are so mature and you are so like, I don't know, you're just so like not this emotional crazy, like I feel like a lot of Gen Z are a little bit
Emotional.
just well and it's like, oh, I just can't handle life, and like you just come across like you're very like, I'm good, like I'm very confident in who I am.
Thanks
and
to her.
yeah, and like
And my dad.
you just have a maturity about you.
you.
And I'm like, for your age, it's just like crazy, you
Well,
know?
growing up in the way that I did, it was definitely, you grew up fast. But,
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely preserved the childhood memories and experiences as best as they could. But I've seen a lot and I've lived a lot in a short time, so you have to. I mean, you'll get eaten alive if you don't. So.
Well, and you're extremely polite. Like, you're, I mean, I think being around, I can tell you've been around a lot of other cultures.
Yeah.
And you've been around those welcoming type people. Like, every time, you know, we've only met a few times, but I've been like, I just feel this, like, warmth and welcoming. And, you know, I'm just like, I just get that from you. And, you know, I think all these things, personalities, I think all of that comes into what you make. I really believe that. I believe that how you are is going to come into what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I can tell that. So I just wanted to say that. I'm very impressed by you, by your age, and just how sweet you are and mature. And so, well, before we move on to the last one, let's move on to the last one, and then we'll talk about, like, the upcoming plans, like, the future.
Absolutely. Actually, if you want to keep that, we have the glasses here. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Here we go. All right.
The nose on this.
No! Yay!
So this is our
my gosh.
100% Montepulciano. This is the gems.
Definitely calls you.
Oh my gosh.
This is what
I
heaven
haven't
will
even
smell
sipped
like.
it yet, but I'm just like in love already.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
Yeah, we definitely stand behind this varietal from this plot from Marche. I know Abruzzo is really well known for Montepulciano, but Marche Rosso, forget it. It's we fell in love with it, and it has so much history. So this is directly the wine, this vineyard, this plot, the Benedictine connection. So these have been here for this vineyard 1,200 years old.
Oh my God.
Right? So the barbarians, when they sacked Rome, I don't know if you guys remember the stories, they sacked Rome, and it'd be like waking up in the morning and seeing New York's on fire, you know, LA's on fire. Like, they didn't have phones, they didn't have newspapers back then, so they had no idea what was happening. So Benedictine actually lived in our area. And so the Benedictine monks, they were the Farfensi monks in our exact location. So they took all the wine that they were making. This was communal wine. So they took it and they were like, what are we going to do? These barbarians are going to come and they're going to drink or steal or destroy all of our communal wine. We need this stuff. So they decided, let's put it in a barrel and hide it from them. And they put it in like the catacombs. So this is what came out of it. And in the end, they realized, oh my gosh, look how the oak had changed the wine, right? So the barbarians didn't know it was there. It was spared.
Yeah.
So this is like a crazy.
And they
I
keep
love
great
history.
records.
So
even of the year and what to do, and if they had bugs or pests or what, they keep great records.
From that
ancient
long ago?
records.
Oh yeah.
And Marco goes up into the big town to the
Fermo.
record books, and he just goes through it and looks what the ancients did.
He'll get you know, any sort of bug or fungus or whatever, and he'll go, okay, I'm gonna go up there and I'm going to the library. I'm gonna read these ancient books and find out what they did to fix it. And that's what we do.
That's mind
Isn't that crazy?
So fascinating.
Yeah. So we've got the roses on the front of the rose to catch anything before it happened. You know, he's got all these little methods he's been teaching us too, and we're excited to just fully immerse in that. So fascinating.
Well, and again, knowing the history of where this kind of originated and started from is just so incredible.
So cool. It makes you feel like when you're drinking it, you're like, I'm drinking a part of history.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I think that's so awesome about wine is that, like, it's been one of the oldest practices since the beginning of time. And, like, I think it's so important for us to look at ancestors in all aspects of life, you know, and I love that there's this history of this wine with, like, all this stuff and then someone is still being like, let me see what they did back then because they were doing something right. Yeah. And I think we need to do that with all aspects of life and be like, you know what, let's take it back. Let's slow down. Let's look at what because our ancestors, I mean, they've kept us up to this point.
Yeah. And they didn't have all the technology and all the stuff and this or that. They didn't have all that back then. And it turned out.
It's been hard too, I know, especially in Italy and in our region, probably other regions, but the new generations are not becoming farmers and carrying that on. So they're going to the big cities and whatnot. So I've been really blessed to, Marco's kind of taken me under his wing, and he was a professor and he just, you know, like, I'm a sponge. I want to know everything I can, and I'm fascinated by this man. This man is like, you know, if I could adopt him, I totally will.
Yeah.
But it's great because, you know, I want to carry that on, and I hope that other people would too in the generations, but it's been sad to see that isn't happening necessarily as much as it could. So we could be losing some of these vineyards, and I don't want to see them get swallowed up by people that don't maintain the craft and that just commercialize it too much, you know.
And it is all small batch. Everything we do is small batch
Right.
for the craft.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually store our fresh picked grapes in a refrigerator for several days to enhance the aromas. That's kind of a little secret that we picked up, and I really feel like it brings to life, you know, the fruit and that profile.
Oh yeah.
So
The aromas on this one are insane.
that's big for
mind
us.
blowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If there's no nose, I mean, we're big nose, you know, people. We want to have a, you know, a big aroma coming out of the glass and whatnot.
Yes.
Same here. That's exactly how we are.
I know.
Yeah.
So what's on the horizon?
A lot.
We've had to stop and
Yeah.
back off a little because we love to create and we love to entertain and we love to we love to bring it all back here. But right now we're going to be going over to Italy. We're going to be focusing on the winery over there. We got all our permits. We got everything going there, and that's a huge, you know, taking on a huge task in a foreign country, and you need a lot of things to do that. And then next year's vintage, what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And Portugal will probably be the next thing.
Yeah, we're looking into that. Obviously, we have to choose and lock in our next country that we go exploring in and find our vineyard. But right now, we have our wine club that we are catering to. And so these are people, we have no wine club membership fees. It's just wine. And it's like, if y'all commit to us, 3 shipments this year, 2023. We have some mystery wines in there too. I mentioned to y'all earlier. Those are really special. And so that's kind of what we're focusing on, is curating something for them and making sure that they're, you know, feeling included. They're getting an experience out of it that we can take them. So we're going to be offering some events that they can go to. We have a virtual wine tasting coming up that wine club members can attend with us, and we can kind of go and do what we just did here with y'all. Do that with them, and then we're gonna start.
We're making wine.
We're making wine, so
Yeah.
we're doing some blends, her and I. So we're gonna be stomping coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not doing enough. Now you're going to become winemakers.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I know.
We have some people behind us that are just like, now you got to do this. And they know us for years, so they could have told us all this, but
Right.
they know us so well that
Better
they
they didn't.
and
No.
reserved
Yeah.
it. So now they're just like,
Coopers,
Next task.
winemakers,
Yeah.
horticulturists.
we're
Oh my
winemakers
gosh.
now.
But it's the joy. I mean, we love it. It
We'll
doesn't
take
feel
it
like a
on.
day of
We
work.
do love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned that you can get your wine here in Franklin someplace?
Yes. So we offer pickup at
Okay.
our at our shipping facility down in Columbia,
Okay.
or we can ship it directly to you. And we just got our wine into Culicino's
Nice.
for tastings and whatnot. And they're opening a new restaurant as well, so it'll be available there.
And where else in Nashville? I think you guys. I saw.
We're not.
Not okay. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We want you guys to come to us. We want you guys to, you know, connect with us so we can really
Gotcha.
share this with you personally.
I like that.
Yeah.
So they just go to the website.
Yep, houseofmustaine.com. We ship to Europe. We ship throughout, obviously, Tennessee, pickup, USA. So we're here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Definitely try these wines. They are phenomenal.
Oh my gosh.
Like, incredible.
Like just top tier.
Yep.
Top tier wines. So good. And you heard the story. You know what you're getting. You know what you're
Mhm.
drinking. You can feel really confident in what you're drinking. So
Yep.
cheers, guys.
Cheers, Pam and
Cheers.
Electra. House of Mustaine. This is awesome.